Fire hydrants are an important aspect of the fire protection for the buildings in our jurisdiction. In both the cities of Grimes and Johnston, the code requires fire hydrants to be placed within 150 feet of a building and along an approved route. Buildings equipped with a fire sprinkler system are required to have a fire hydrant to be placed within 100 feet of an approved connection. When fire hydrants and department connections are placed, designers should allow unobstructed access to hydrants and connections. There are typically two types of obstructions that exist on a finished site. The first is vehicle parking. Vehicles should never be allowed directly in front of a hydrant or fire connection. This condition is addressed in two separate code sections. Section 912.4.2 prohibits parking directly in front of a connection, and Section 507.5.4 prohibits parking directly in front of hydrants. Additionally, Sections 912.4.2 and 507.5.5 prohibit plantings in front of or adjacent to connections and fire hydrants, respectively. The obstruction can dramatically slow the ability of firefighters to make the necessary connections to provide adequate flow and support to the fire sprinkler system. The large diameter hose that connects to fire hydrants comes in 50 and 100-foot sections. Our fire apparatus carries one 50-foot section and 7 100-foot sections. This means that our firefighters must pull another 100 foot of hose off of the apparatus if they are short even by a few feet. This causes an issue with site access for later arriving apparatus, as the extra hose may need to be looped into a drive aisle to eliminate kinks. Once the large diameter hose is filled with water, it is nearly impossible to move as it weighs 10 pounds per foot. In the following demonstrations, you will see a fire company making connections to fire hydrants and connections. We hope these demonstrations will provide clarity to designers and building owners as it relates to the fire department's needs in the event we would need to connect to a hydrant or connection. In the first demonstration, the fire company will be connecting to a fire hydrant that is blocked by parked vehicles and construction equipment. The firefighter making the connection to the hydrant must navigate the tight space provided in full gear with a large diameter hose and tools needed to connect to the hydrant. Firefighters must also make sure the hose will not become kinked around vehicles and other obstructions when charged. Once the hose is wrapped around the hydrant, the firefighter must get back on the fire apparatus to move to the entrance to assist in stretching a hose line into the building. After the hose line is pulled from the apparatus, the engineer will connect the large diameter hose to the pump intake and charge the hose line for the fire crew. The engineer will then make their way to the hydrant to flush it and make the connection. In the second demonstration, the fire company will be connecting to a fire hydrant and then the connection. Once the fire apparatus is parked, the crew must stretch smaller hoses that are 2.5 inches in diameter to the connection. While this is occurring, the engineer will then connect the large diameter hose and the pump. Once the pump and the connection are made, the 2.5-inch hoses will be charged and one crew member will return to the hydrant to flush it and make the connection. In the last two scenarios, the same processes will be demonstrated without obstructions. The difficulty level is reduced when the hydrant is placed along the apparatus access road with no obstructions. The placement of the hydrant very near the connection allows for a shorter hose to the pump intake on the bumper, which reduces the amount of time to make the necessary connections.